All right, I'd like to call our regular board meeting to order. You all please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Okay, President March?
Here.
Trustee Marevka? Here. Trustee Jones?
Here.
Trustee Sluse?
Here.
Trustee Bowden?
Here.
Trustee Sturba?
Here.
And Trustee Hudson?
Here. All right, public comments. And Ed, I did check our guidelines, and it is a 3-minute guideline for public comments, so
I'm gonna keep it
nice, short and sweet tonight.
So it's
Okay.
only, you don't have part 1, 2, and 3.
Okay.
All right. Me and my wife sold some Poppy Days back on Memorial Day weekend, up by McDonald's on Oriole and Willie Pete Road. There's no markings on the roadway, like on Oriole Drive.
Right.
It just seemed like it was a lot of close calls, a lot of a safety issue.
Yeah, that's
So I
definitely
wanted to bring it up
something, yeah.
To you, and I talked to Bob this morning also,
Yeah.
I was gonna say you talked to me too.
and
about
you
it,
too,
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I just wanna bring that to,
it's definitely something on our radar that's gotta be
Good.
done. We've been,
all right,
definitely something's gotta be done there.
yeah, all right.
Thanks,
Thank
Ed.
That was easy.
Very easy. Any other public comment? If not, we'll move on to the consent agenda, which includes the minutes of our May 23rd meeting, payroll accounts payable, the payroll for the pay period of May 28th of $50,968.08, accounts payable for the pay period ending 6/10/2022, the general fund $162,203.48, the building permit escrow fund $8,745, the business development district fund $5,799.90, and the TIF one fund of $31. We also have on the consent agenda a couple of special events, tree lighting, which will be on November 19th, with the rain date of November 20th. And also a hot air balloon festival out at the fairgrounds, which will be July 23rd and 24th. And then there is also a special event amplifier permit application for a band at a house on 923 West Locust Lane on June 25th from 6 to 9 p.m. Are there any items that trustees would like to remove from the consent agenda? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion.
Second.
Been moved by trustee Marevka, second by trustee Sturba, right? Or Joe?
Sure.
Sturba, okay.
Okay, roll call vote. Trustee Marevka?
Yes.
Trustee Sturba?
Yes.
Trustee Sluse?
Yes.
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee Hudson?
Yes.
And Trustee Bowden?
Yes.
Okay, motion carried.
All right, on to staff and committee reports. Angela from Aqua apologized that she was not gonna be here today. She gave me a couple of items. Let me see if I can find them real quick. So she said that the work on the pump number 3, which has been out of service, is ongoing, and they got the parts in. It should be done by the end of next week. The painting of the water towers is planned to start soon, and then they're gonna start, they're gonna do flushing after the water towers are done. I think that's all she had for us. If anybody's has any questions you want me to relay to her, I certainly can. If not, we'll move on. Administrator, any reports?
No.
Engineering, Troy, do you have anything other than what's on the agenda? Troy's joining us by phone, by the way.
Hello everyone, yes, I can give a couple quick updates. The Wilmington Road sidewalk project, the concrete's all complete. we have a couple punch list items that they need to fix up, but and we are still waiting for the flashing signs and the crosswalks to be installed. We don't have a good timeline on the flashing signs due to supply chain issues, unfortunately. So it's not official. The sidewalk's not officially open, but we're working on trying to get those signs and the crosswalks in at the same time. The storm sewer job is moving along after a couple hurdles in the beginning. They're about halfway done with installing the storm sewer. Hopefully we'll be almost done this week and then can start doing road patching next week if everything goes smoothly and some resurfacing. And the Railroad Street is later in the agenda. You want me to talk about it now or just wait till then?
We can wait till then.
Okay.
Did you hear the public comment about, I know we've talked about that before, Oriole Drive, markings on Oriole Drive and Wilmington Road?
I couldn't really hear. Can you just give me a brief what he said?
So there's not real good lane markings on Oriole Drive and Wilmington Road there. So there's no designated left turn lane or right turn lane. You know, people are just kind of all over the place there. So I know we've talked about trying to put some, a center line there and maybe, a turn lane. So that's something you could look at.
Sure. I don't know if the road's wide enough to put a turn lane in, but it's something I'll check into for sure.
Okay, appreciate it, because it gets pretty hairy there with people diving in off of, Wilmington Road and trying to go to McDonald's or pulling out of McDonald's, whatever, so.
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions for Troy while we got him on the phone here? Okay. If not, police chief is not here, so I don't have a report for him. Public Works, don't have a report. The treasurer's report was in there. And I wanted to give you an update. The administrator and I and the treasurer, or our acting financial consultant, met with First Midwest, the investment branch, just to talk about our investments, that $2 million that we have in there. To be honest with you, I'm not real happy with the answers that she gave us. She's got us in a lot of treasury bonds that don't mature for a couple of years at a pretty low interest rate. So we're kind of stuck in those unless we want to sell them at a loss, which I don't think we want to. We are talking about consolidating a lot of our accounts that we have. If you can see on that treasurer's report, there's almost 10, 12 accounts that we have with First Midwest. And our financial consultant seems to think that we'd be a lot more efficient if we just had a couple of accounts, and that any excess cash could be swept into an investment account that we could be earning more than, the money market right now is at 0.04% or 0.02%. We've got a meeting set up with First Community Bank this week to talk about how we could improve on that money market rate that we're getting with them. And then we're also in the process of setting up a meeting with PFM where we have about about $6 million with them, and trying to increase our investment rate. Now that the interest rates have gone up quite a bit, we want to be able to take advantage of that. Also in the treasurer's report, there's about 2.5 pages of things that she's been doing. The summary of task improvements to date. I asked her to put this together for us. We wanted to try to keep her hours to a minimum, but she's finding out there's a lot of things that need to be updated and improved. And I think in the long run, when she gets done creating some efficiencies in that position, that we're going to save money in the long run, because we're going to be able to probably possibly, she thinks we'll be able to hire somebody, you know, just kind of 20 hours a week to do that position, so. But look through that, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that she's been doing and, you know, really making some progress and working with our auditors. We're going through our audit right now and with a new audit firm, and so there's a lot of work that she and the administrator have been putting in to try to get that audit completed. So if you guys have any questions, let me know, or I can pass those on to Anne Marie. There's no questions about that. We'll move on to my comments. The only thing I have to say is, you know, I hope everybody comes out to celebrate the block party this Friday and Saturday. The garage sales will be going on all day Friday and Saturday. You know, that always creates a lot of traffic in town, which is a good thing, but people are always, you know, looking at the garage sales instead of the road, so just, you know, be careful when you're out there with your kids or riding around. We don't want any accidents. You know, the chamber's always looking for help, volunteers to help in the entertainment tent or, you know, with the kids event. So if anybody wants to volunteer, contact Trustee Sluice. And I don't know, is there anything else you wanted to add to that?
Nope.
Okay. Should be a great event. Looks like the weather will be a little cooler this weekend, so it should be, looks like it's gonna be a great time. We don't have any old business. Moving on to new business, we have a request for a fence variance application at 216 East South Street. And I believe we have the applicants here. Is it Ms. Rivera?
Yep.
So it looks to me, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'll just try to summarize. You have an existing fence that extends almost to your property line in the back, and you'd like to add a fence on that property line that up to the end of your house. And because it's a corner lot, we don't usually allow fences to go out to the property line. One question I had for you, as I drove by there, it looks like there's already existing line of shrubs there. Are you keeping those, or is the fence gonna go on the outside of those shrubs, or how's that working?
Yeah, we were hoping, I'm just gonna.
You got some
pass this out really
pictures?
quick.
Great.
Thank you.
I'm a visual person, so I was hoping there were others here.
Yes, yes.
So, yeah, I, maybe you guys can share.
Yep.
Thank you.
How many groups we had. So the very first picture my son was modeling, but you can see that's the existing fence that's already there. I kinda had him hold up cardboard because that's what we were told we should be doing for fencing in the backyard. And then my husband, who is a very skilled drawer, the very first page, this is what it would look like if we did what was suggested. So you can see this, I think this is about 14 feet. It just looks really weird. Like, I wish 5 years ago, we were just told to put it up to that certain spot and not be allowed to, you know, have it all the way over. But 5 years in the future, this is what we're dealing with. So the third page is actually what we were hoping to do, which eyesore-wise and consistent with what I've seen in Peatone kind of fits a little bit better. I don't really venture out too much. I work from home, but just driving to and from the high school like I do all day long, I feel like. Right, I mean, this page right here, there's something similar to what we wanna do, actually exactly similar, but it's not, we would be doing a wooden fence to go with what we already have. But this is right on the corner of, right by the high school, which shows almost to a T like what we want to do. And then this picture right here is from my front window. So right across the street from me is the same thing.
So is the fence gonna go on the outside or the inside of those
Well,
shrubs that you have there? Or are you gonna take those down?
Yeah, well, and so I didn't really wanna kill a tree if I didn't have to. We were hoping, and error on our part, because I thought when we were allowed to do this 5 years ago, I was told we had to be on the property line. So my thought process of it was, we have to be on the property line, so I assumed we had to be on the property line, which would be a foot in, which would have part of those bushes inside the fence. Now, we're not trying to go all the way down the house, so we would have to cut in, I think it's 3 bushes, or 3 of the arborvitae trees, just go right into the middle. To cut over. Or, I mean, I would have to go all the way down if we were enclosing all of the arborvitaes in.
Well, no,
If
I
that
mean,
makes
I don't
sense.
want you to go further towards the corner, but I
Yeah.
was just asking what you're gonna do with those. So
Yeah.
So the 3 or so that are gonna be affected, are those gonna be inside the fence or outside the fence, or you need to take them out?
Yeah, no, we're not gonna take them out, but we would like them outside of the fence. I
Outside
mean,
the
unless
fence.
you say to me, you prefer them in, it's just, if for some reason down the road they do die, it's gonna look a little weird. You know, with that
So
fence
is
being
that,
jagged.
is the, where that other fence end, that's right at your property line?
No, it's about, I don't know, I don't think it's 2 feet, so we would extend it. I think it's 1.5 feet to be right on that hole in the ground, which would be our property line, and then continue down, which would be right where those arborvitaes end, if that makes sense. Like,
Does this make sense?
that makes sense?
Yes.
I'll tell Rick.
These pictures, I can't quite tell where your trees, so you would have to like you said, cut into them or cut them down to get to
Yeah.
that corner.
Mhm. And I can't even get to like the exact corner of the house because there's a tree right in the middle of it. So yeah, I would have to remove that tree if we wanted to come cut over and be flush with the house, or be 1.5 feet past where the house ends. I mean, my heart would probably be okay taking one tree out if I had to, but not all of them for the sake of.
Would it be a possibility to even take off that end piece of the fence and go from there in? I don't know where, I see where your house would be right here, so it's over just a couple of feet.
Mhm.
Would that be a possibility to take this whole section down to be able to bring out just a little bit, so you're like not as close to the sidewalk?
I mean, I would be, stuck with like the cement post in the ground. It would just, I guess if I didn't see so many of them all over town, I don't even know why it was allowed. I didn't need a variance last time. But, so because it was allowed, it's almost like, let's just continue it so that it makes sense.
Right.
And those trees, I mean, we've tried to plant trees, and I don't know, there's a huge maple tree that I think is like just taking up all the nutrients in the ground right there, because it's not, we've tried 4 different rounds and they just don't take. But I mean, just visually, for it to make sense, I don't really know, what else to do.
So, are you asking to extend the back fence a couple feet more towards the sidewalk?
Well, I think it's like 18 inches that it would have to come over. In order to fence in those arborvitaes. If not, and if you prefer to have those arborvitaes be on the outside of the fence, that's doable. I believe. I'd have to look to see where
Well,
that is without making it just look weird.
I mean, if we're gonna let you fence in that backyard, I don't wanna extend it any closer to the sidewalk.
Right.
I mean, I'd rather just go straight from that fence post. I mean, site issue, the reason why we don't like fences on corner lots like that is that they can impede the view, but in this case, those arborvitae's already
They're already
They're
there.
already there.
create the view, and that's kind of a long lot for a corner lot, so, I mean, I'd rather you just go from that
Yeah,
back
that's what I
post,
was
not
thinking.
extend it.
And then to the, whatever is from the end of your house over, so if you have to cut into some of those arborvitaes, it would be like that. If you can see my people drawing. But it would extend from your house right here and then cut in and just go right to that corner.
So this and that corner don't line up, so would it just be at an angle there?
Well, no, you could, unless, well, yeah, because you don't want to cut in. So I mean, you could, or you would have to go with that, like right here.
So if we did, so if this came up to there, which I'm trying to picture now and I don't have, I look there and I can't piece it together, but I wanna say it's maybe right in the middle of like the arborvitae, like if you look where, so we would go straight from there.
Mhm.
Would we be able to come in the foot and then go down the arborvitaes to cut over? So we're not on an angle, cause that's even weirder.
Well, yeah, no, an angle would be just super weird, but there would be no way to cut into them to go over, right? Wish we had like a top view so I
Oh,
could see how
like
far.
to go right near the arborvitaes? Yeah, I'm not sure if I
Oh,
can do
thank
that.
you. Like, I wish I had a top
Yeah.
view.
So you're talking about coming off here
Yeah,
and
and over a little bit and then,
then down to
Down.
the existing?
yeah.
Is your existing
But that would
fence,
still be on an angle.
is your existing fence in the back where it goes, does it line up on the inside or outside of the bushes?
I think it ends
Right
right in
even
the
with the
middle.
trees?
Yes.
Yeah.
So you would
Yeah,
have to
that's why
replace
I-
that panel, make that panel smaller and put a new post in and take the one post out.
Yeah, I would just
To
get
have
rid
your
of
fence on the
this.
inside and the trees on the outside.
Unless you just wanna get rid of that one bush.
I don't think it's just the
It's
one
not
though.
just
I think
one,
it's
though. It
like
looks like
2.5.
Cause I think if you went from this, like got rid of this panel right here and went in, I think it would go right where you need it to go. You might have to cut into one tree a little bit, but.
Yeah, that
Makes
whole
sense.
panel's definitely not, because I think it's about this much. Like I think that the end of it is right here and then the trees come like this. Like it, if we were to go straight, it would split those trees in half. So that whole panel, yeah, I mean that you can see, I kinda outlined it on there where we would have to take out that panel in half to be
Mhm.
able to come straight to the, which, yeah.
Not to come straight to the end of the house. I mean, even if you could go over to that.
just on the other side of the trees.
Yeah, just on the inside of the trees.
Okay, I mean, that might be taking off like 4 panels and we might make it.
When you say panels,
You mean
are
pieces
talking
of
about
board?
the pickets?
Just
No, I'm sorry, like the boards, yeah, I'm definitely not
Yeah.
in construction. Let's just preface that right away.
I knew what you were talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, you're on my page.
Yep.
Thank you. Yeah, and which would ultimately be those arborvitaes on this side of the fence. God forbid they ended up dying. It would just be, yes, fence and then all the way over.
And not an angle. I'm not saying don't do an
Well,
angle.
see, here's a picture of the inside of the fence, so basically where that's at on the inside of the bushes, you would just cut these 3 boards and put a post there, and then you could tie right in.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. Thank you.
All right, so it sounds like most everybody's okay with just kind of putting the fence on the inside of those bushes. Michael, how do we frame this so that we can maybe give the administrator the authority to kind of go out there and make sure our wishes are, followed
Sure, just.
without a number, we don't
Yeah.
we don't have a tape measure to figure that out right now, so.
Just like you said, on the inside of the bushes, subject to, final approval and inspection by the village administrator.
Oh yeah, I would love for I emailed, and I don't know what email it was, but I think all the emails on the website, like our working emails, I would hope, right? And so I thought, and again, I've never been to a board meeting, never even really looked at the website, but I emailed because we want to do the right thing, and I didn't get back, like nobody got back to me. I literally said, I have some questions, I would love if somebody could come out, because I can't stand here and explain. I mean, that's great, these are great, your guys' suggestions are great, but I asked that on April 28th, and I did not hear from anybody. I had to call to say, even if it wasn't the right person, tell me that.
Yeah.
Tell me who to contact.
Did anybody get the email?
I didn't get it.
So I sent it to,
Maybe we got a problem with
I
the
think it was
website.
code at
Oh,
something something.
yeah.
Is
that who you just sent it to, code?
Well, whatever it told me to click on,
Oh,
it said
okay.
email. Like, I think, Amy, are you like admin at Peatone something and like billing for the, I know everybody by heart now. So I sent it to who I thought it was, which I thought I was asking for code information. I
Yeah.
don't know.
No, that's okay.
But nobody answered or like didn't say, hey, I'm the wrong person. Can you reach out to this?
That particular position was vacant, so there was nobody
Checking
that would have
emails.
seen that at that time.
Okay.
Um,
And out of
But-
office or something,
yeah.
just so like
But
us
but Bill
we would know.
Ragland did eventually go out and look at the site, but
He did. I mean, I had to like
Yes.
make sure that happened.
yes.
Which,
Okay.
again, nobody's gonna advocate except yourself or
Right.
yourself. But
Okay.
yes, we want to do the right thing. So
All right.
we can have coffee and donuts, and somebody can say where you want
Right.
their things. I would love it.
Good, okay.
They can go
All right.
from their house to the bushes and then go straight back.
Yes, that's kind of what the intent is, so can I have a motion to approve that variance as we discussed, to keep that fence inside the bushes?
Motion.
Second.
Been moved by trustee Sturba, second by trustee Maravka.
Okay, roll call vote. Trustee Sturba?
Yes.
Trustee Maravka?
Yes, sorry.
Trustee Sluse?
Yes.
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee Hudson?
Yes.
And trustee Bowden?
Yes.
Okay, motion carried.
Thank you.
All right, the next item on the agenda, I'm gonna recuse myself and ask our president pro tem to chair that part of the meeting.
Okay, new business item B, we have a special event application. And I believe Vicky from Game On is here. Do you want to explain what's going on?
Did you guys get what I dropped off?
The flyers?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
we did.
that was a proposed flyer I made. What I'm looking to do, in combination of event with March Family Dental, close off from the south entrance, just south of Susie's, down to the end of North Street, right? So all that's blocked off. I talked to Simple Impressions across the street. They were, Jeannie was excited about putting a table out to attract business. I talked to Susie's, so that their customers can benefit from it as well. I don't wanna block off anything farther than Susie's because I want Marilyn from Corner Cafe to still have her parking. But what I'm looking to do is, pretty much have sounds on Second Street, music in the streets. It doesn't necessarily, I don't have things for the kids to do, but kids are welcome to come. Have a special spot blocked off for golf cart parking. Matt Yeager would play at noon, and then after that, we have a Beatles sing-along. It's a father and son, and they hand out books with the lyrics to the Beatles, and they play the music, and everybody sings along. I am asking for alcohol in the streets, same rules, aluminum, plastic, things like that. And I believe the Beatles tribute is only
Hour and a half.
2 hours,
Yeah.
hour and a half, 2 hours. So we're thinking the whole thing should be done and closed up and cleaned up by 5:30, 6 o'clock. It's a Sunday. So, oh, and I also talked to Archie's, and he's gonna bring, some kind of something, he's got something in the works, like a table down for kids to do, where if they participate, they get a ticket, and then they can bring the ticket down to the ice cream place. So trying to get as many businesses involved. There aren't many open on Sundays, everybody else is pretty much closed. But I think I contacted everybody who is open on Sundays for their input to see if they wanted to be involved, and of course, I'm open to any other businesses that wanna come and be involved as well. But just something different, something fun outside to try and attract people to town. So, that's what it is.
That sounds good. That would be on Sunday, August 7th,
Correct.
from like 12 to 6.
On the alcohol side, are you saying people can bring their own, or are you guys gonna sell?
We would be selling it. That's where Susie's and I would, where we would come in.
Yeah, so you'll
And
be
I
able-
talked to Susie and she's like, that's awesome, you know, thanks for including me.
You'll be able to control access so people aren't just bringing in coolers and parking and that kind of stuff.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
I said you're gonna be able to control the access so people aren't just gonna plop down with their cooler and sit there and drink beer.
Well, yeah, I mean, we will definitely
Okay.
be policing it as best we can.
I just don't, I got your special event application, Vicky, I don't have your, a special event liquor application, so we would just need that.
I didn't know if I had to do that after you guys said it was okay, then do I get that?
Yeah,
But-
I just wanted to let them know that we could bring that back if,
Okay,
Is it gonna be a beer garden again, or is it gonna be like everybody can just walk around?
we're gonna put up, I have 10 8-foot banquet tables and chairs, so I'll have those set up, but I will, you know, also put on the flyer, if you wanna bring your own lawn chair, you can, kind of a thing. But I will have seating available, and then if Susie wants to bring in some picnic tables, I think we'll probably just stick with my seating. It'll be right out in front between both mouths.
and if Susie wants to sell alcohol outside of her establishment, she would need to apply for a C2.
Well, we're not selling outside. We're gonna still sell in our own premises, but people will be able to leave the building with them and stay in that confined area. So I'm not gonna set up a
Okay.
beer tub outside. It would just be like if you wanted to have a Miller Lite, come in the bar, order it in a can or a
Okay.
draft in a plastic cup, and then you would be allowed to just actually be outside in the confined area and drink.
So I would just be very explicit with what you're requesting when you do the C2, so we know
Okay.
what you're asking for.
Okay,
All right, thank you.
okay.
All right, if there are no other questions, I'll entertain a motion to approve the special event.
Motion?
Motion. Veronica?
Yes.
Jones?
Okay, Maravka, Jones. Roll call vote. Trustee Maravka?
Yes.
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee Sluse?
Yes.
Trustee Hudson?
Yes.
Trustee Bowden?
Yes.
And trustee Sturba?
Yes.
Okay, motion carried.
All right, moving on to item C, motion to accept the resignation letter of Police Officer Curtis Ingram of the Peatone Police Department. You all have that letter in your packet, so I'll entertain a motion to accept that.
Motion. Second.
Moved by trustee Hudson, seconded by trustee Marevka.
Okay, roll call vote. Trustee Hudson?
Yes.
Trustee Maravka?
Yes.
Trustee Sluse?
Yes.
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee Bowden?
Yes.
And trustee Sturba?
Yes.
Okay, motion carried.
See what's in the back.
All right, item D, is motion to approve recommendation of Robinson Engineering to award contract to Iroquois Paving, the low bidder on Railroad Street, and parking lot improvements, Main Street to North Street project, the amount of $681,577.13. So this is a long-awaited start of our downtown project. And Troy, are you still there? No? You go on.
No, I'm sorry, I'm still here.
Okay, perfect.
Wasn't off.
You muted it.
All right, did you want to say any words of introduction here to this?
Yes, so as you can see from the letter, the bids actually did come in lower than our estimate, which is good news for these days, although, you know, our estimate was higher than it probably would have been normally too, just in the times we're in. But it is good that we got one lower bid. So if this gets awarded, then we're gonna contact Iroquois to immediately get their permit going with the railroad to try to speed that up as much as we can, because you know, it could be slow working with the railroad for the permit and the flaggers. And then we're also trying to keep Nicor going because they did identify a gas main that was very shallow, so we need to get that relocated before it can start. So couple little things to get moving, but you know, hopefully it can get going this summer.
All right, any questions for Troy?
Hey Troy, this is Pat, how does the EV charging station work? Is it a fee for use, or is it a freebie, or what's the plan there?
I'll have to get back to you. I wasn't the one that prepared those documents. I believe we set it up so everything was kind of included for 3 years. That's how the bid item wrote. But I'll double check and get back to you to be sure with our guy who did those specs.
So, my impression was that we were gonna be putting in something that had a chart, you'd have to put your credit card in but we're not providing
We're not
free
free,
charging.
that's good.
Yeah.
But then who's getting the revenues?
Well, so that's the other thing. When I saw this $33,000 for that, I thought that was excessive. I talked to Troy about it and asked if we could proceed with putting the infrastructure in, the electrical lines, and then doing some more investigations on the actual structure, because I think there's opportunities out there where if somebody's getting paid for this, that they'll put it in for a lot cheaper than that.
That was kind of my.
And we did reach out to the company today to try to find out what their actual costs are, so we can try to figure out how much the contractor was inflating it, maybe because of some unknowns they didn't know about. So we're trying to figure that out to kind of help you guys make a decision too.
Okay.
And then on the excavation, it says special. What does special mean?
It means we didn't use the standard IDOT pay item, which is all their specs are in the IDOT book, kind of the work that's included. So when we put special, it means we write our own special provision to expand on the IDOT specs. And the reason we did a special item is it's because we want to include the pavement removal, because it's so thin in a lot of areas. We want to include that in the earth excavation instead of paying for the pavement removal separate. So that's the reason for that.
Okay. And then on the lighting and the stamped pavement and stuff, is that all part of the specs that Julie spent 1 million hours working on?
Yes, it is. And Julie can tell you she had a little discrepancy, and it may have been communication on my part about the number of lights. But we can work through that. But all the specs were, I believe, what Julie and the committee were looking for the items that were bid out.
The difference was, it states on here that we're going with 4 lights, but we originally always planned on 5. So I was back and forth with Troy and Jennifer Graham, trying to figure out what happened and how we got from 5 to 4. And Troy was gonna have Dave from Robinson send me the new specs of the lighting in the area. If 4 is enough, then we're okay with 4. If it's not, then we would like to go with 5.
Yeah, so from my recollection, and Troy kind of reminded me too, that I said if 4 is adequate from their lighting studies, that we'll stick with 4 instead of 5. I think, like I said, once we get those lighting diagrams, we can kind of see for ourselves, but.
Julie, I did send those earlier today. Check your Peatone email. You should have it. Let me know if not.
Okay. Yeah, I just know that she spent a ton of time on creating those lights, and I want to make sure that that's what we're gonna get.
Right. Any other questions? All right, then I've got to ask Trustee Jones and Trustee Hudson's to recuse themselves because of their ownership in the downtown area. So I'll entertain a motion to approve the recommendation from Robinson Engineering to award the contract to Iroquois Paving for the amount of $681,577.13. This was in our budget for this year, and the plan is we'll probably end up paying for about half of it out of our business development district, and then the other portion will come out of our general fund.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Been moved by Trustee Bowden, second by Trustee Sluse.
Okay, roll call vote. Trustee Bowden?
Yes.
Trustee Sluse?
Yes.
Trustee Sturba?
Yes.
Trustee Maravka?
Yes.
Okay. Motion carried.
Do you need to,
Do, what?
does she have to ask for their vote, or do they just have to say they're recused, or?
No, you stated it, so it'll be
Okay,
in the
so
minutes, so
it'll
we're
be okay.
fine.
It will.
Okay, perfect. All right, moving on, ordinances, an ordinance adopting portions of the Illinois Motor Vehicle Code within the Village of Peatone, County, Illinois. This will be ordinance 22-11. And my understanding is that we're putting this wording in here so that when the Illinois Motor Vehicle Code changes, that we automatically adopt that. Whereas I think in the past, we maybe said we're adopting the code as of this date, and so when things changed, it didn't change. Is that correct, Michael? Is that?
Yeah, to some degree, it also gives the department flexibility to write things as local ordinances when it's advantageous in certain instances, or as state
Okay.
charges. So there's a couple different good reasons for it. But yeah, it's pretty common to just adopt the whole thing.
Okay. There's no questions. I'll entertain a motion to approve ordinance 22-11.
Motion.
Second.
Moved by trustee Maravka, second by trustee Hudson.
Okay, roll call vote. Trustee Maravka?
Yes.
Trustee Hudson?
Yes.
Trustee Sluse?
Yes.
Trustee Jones?
Yes. Yes.
Trustee Bowden?
Yes.
And trustee Sturba?
Yes.
Okay, motion carried.
All right, item F is a resolution 22-R07, which we authorize acceptance of proposal from P4 Security Solutions for assistance with police chief executive search process. So this was the gentleman that was here at our last meeting. This is his firm, and this will get the process started.
No motion.
Second.
Moved by trustee Maravka, second by trustee Sluse.
Okay, roll call vote. Trustee Maravka?
Yes.
Trustee Sluse?
Yes.
Trustee Hudson?
Yes.
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee Bowden?
Yes.
And trustee Sturba?
Yes.
Okay, motion carried.
It was resolution 22-R07. Questions of the press?
None at this time.
All right. Any other items from the board members? All right. Encourage everybody to enjoy the weekend, the block party and the garage sale. And entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved by trustee Maravka, second by trustee Sturba.
Okay, roll call vote. Trustee Maravka?
Yes.
Trustee Sturba?
Yes.
Trustee Sluse?
Yes.
Trustee Hudson?
Yes.
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
And trustee Bowden?
Yes.
All right, thank you.